Good evening.
Hi, guten Chodesh.
Right. Where are we up to?
Chavav,
Yeah, which
page Ayin, Maimer Chavav.
oh, we didn't start Chavav yet. Yeah, right. Okay. Chavav. Purim, like Aswarok said Purim, but with the almost Purim is Purim Ba'erev. Okay, Purim towards evening. A person when he's born finds the world arranged, everything in its proper place. And he attempts to correlate the path of his life with the axioms which are prevalent in the world. He looks at every incident with the same perspective that all the other members of the generation possess. As they've been habituated, they learn from their fathers, and their fathers' fathers. Somebody who is universally acclaimed by people as a very wise man. He thinks he's wise too. As if this assumption, this axiom, was a law which cannot be which you cannot violate. And you should not question it. Only a very few people will become intelligent and will attempt move shots, look at the entire world in an abstract view, right? In other words, not without preconceived notions. To critique everything in the eye of his intelligence. And to understand everything, not like something one person does by rote or by habit, but rather to analyze the source and the place from whence each thing comes. And then he sees everything in a different light. The Amaratsus not analyzing everything from an abstract, has been so rooted in the hearts of the human human race that all traces of a prior life have been erased. See, they told over Russia Sovietics. The person passed through a small town in Soviet Russia. And Lenin, and he saw the statue of Lenin at the main intersection. He met a small child, and he asked him, "Show me on Darta, whose statue is this?" And the child answered innocently, "Hello, this is the father of our nation. Will soon be the father of the entire world." I guess, in other words, the indoctrination in Soviet Russia was such that this is the way they thought. Okay? The entire world is concerned with the question of the Jews. Every country, from the great until the small, it's great and it's great men, it's wise men. All on this question. All their diplomacy hinges on this matter. Even matters which seem to have nothing to do with Jews. The core of these things, their seed, are really the Jews. Yerucham is saying this in the 1930s. I guess it's safe to say that it's more or less the same today. So I mean, looks at things a little bit abstract. He'll be astonished and will wonder, what is this? There's a question of the Jews just arise now. That they're so involved in such great interest. From the history of the world, we will know We know Shishum Shelo Lo Sabiyada Lasiko Lo Lamuzman Rubet. The no question has arisen, which involves the world for an extended amount of time. Eza Sirios Shanim and Daibo Siris, a few decades are sufficient for the most significant questions. Pitaron Shelas Hayudim, but resolving the question of the Jews, Torah Olam Zeh, Olam, the world is distracted. Zeh Kalpaim Shana, almost 2,000 years. Learning myself in cloud, and it hasn't become discussing them. They deal with it all the time. They haven't become discussing with it. In each and every generation, they arouse the same old inquiries. Are Jews good, bad or good? Do they poison the world or the opposite? As if this nation just came into being yesterday. They didn't know it yesterday or the day before, actually. Only now they're trying to understand what it's all about. I mean, Ramban Parshas Mos, Parshas Chavan, Chochmo, Nimo Kil Kroi Ton. I would say, Lord, you read that, the Ramban. It says it's as if you're reading a newspaper from today. Also in Egypt, they used to put up to trial a Egyptian who killed a Jewish child. But there are never witnesses to be found on the murder. And the murderer will go free for the lack of evidence. It's exactly like our time, in the time of the pogroms, etc. From the time of subjugation in Egypt, more than 3,000 years have passed. Everything which is written and given over to us from that period is so new. It's as if they pass before our eyes our own period. This is a live depiction from our generation. Somebody who analyzes carefully. The entire concept of the enemies of the Jews is a secret. Sinaso most Yudim is also sod shall sinas hara tov. This is it's a sign. It is the secret of the hatred of evil for good. This opposite this God has made. When there's good, there must be bad. Have to be enemies of the Jews. The 36 tzaddikim, so I don't think, although it's clearly wishful thinking on my part, I don't think he's referring to all non-Jews, as many people assume. I don't like that perspective, and so I'm going to assume, just like you, that what he writes in the brackets is going to tell us that there are the nations of the world who hate Jews, but not necessarily all of them. Perhaps of a large number, but not all of them. But that is certainly what?
I agree. I think he says it's must speak. There's enough.
Yes.
Not everybody. But there's plenty.
Okay. They reveal this hatred. From there, hatred came down to Am Yisrael. Although that Gemara is ambiguous, you can explain it the exact opposite too. You can explain it because the Jews started hating the Goyim at Har Sinai. So he says until we saw Torah v'shtarish v'kerva klaiso kosorato, when Am Yisrael accepted the Torah and there was embedded in them the entire secret of good. But also show you at that time a hatred came down from the nations of the world to the nations of the world on account of the Jews. The general principle is Klal Yisrael sema tov. Klal Yisrael sema of good. Of the avodah zara sema hara. The idolaters are the symbol of evil. good midos, uplifting midos, outstanding midos. That is the essence of the Jewish people. Midos rose, bad midos, mushkosas, corrupt midos, alzorios, cruel midos, zoe mahusam shell, umasom of the kochai mazos. That is the nature of the nature of the world, who are idolatrous. The entire length of the Megillah. With all the deeds and happenings, etc. So I deter to expand the amount of time on the greats of the nations of the world, only hints at them, such as we see even by Yishmael and Esav, and that just mentioned names without getting into any stories in the Torah. Umishum the kol inyan. Umishum the kol inyan Megillah hu yaros yisod zeh shel zelu mazeh. To show this concept of this opposite this. Moso shel klaiso, moso shel umusom of the Avodah. The essence of the klaiso, the essence of the nations who are idolaters. When we page through this Megillah in order. Obviously, his intent, which was not so obvious, that he wanted to show. I guess it's not sure he wasn't obvious. But it wasn't obvious. I assume it was obvious that he wanted to show off his wealth. But he's saying no, wasn't so obvious and revealed. Certainly all the commands given about the party. Mishnah said, "You assuming by the time Mishonim they have given, they gave different reasons and various different explanations." And his true intent was hidden from any person. Again, I don't know why he says that. But the Torah perspective is look at everything in essence, in the essence of its inner workings. The Tocho and its content, without the outer trappings. Is called a malchus, which is fawning. I'm not sure exactly how that. I don't remember ever seeing that. I'm not sure of the chonef. I would use this chonef in this context because it seems here that means cunning and sly and deceptive. First, he wanted to fulfill his obligation to towards the people who were his allies. And then he killed Vashti, and then he killed the advisors in order to fulfill the obligation. In other words, to appease other groups. This is all a depiction of the midos of Achashverosh. In other words, he was. Again, I don't know why it's not obvious. He's saying it's like it's saying which people can tell. I think court machinations are very public and very obvious, and certainly people knew that Achashverosh was this capricious king. So
he was a people pleaser. I think they call it in sociology or something like psychology.
Oh, so that's what it means by chonef here. Okay, that makes sense. In other words, he was.
He wanted to please his advisors, so he killed Vashti, and then people turned against the advisors, so he went and killed the advisors.
So that makes sense. And chonef makes sense. He I wanted to flatter and appease everybody.
Right.
In turn, Gila Melch Hashverosh Yisomar, V'Gomer V'Cholav De Melch V'Gomer Korim Mishtach B'Lama V'Gomer Mordechai Lo Yichar V'Lishtach V'Gomer V'Yaramam V'Gomer V'Yamleya Men Chema. Arrays a Tmuna. This is the picture of Me'ashchasas Hamidos, corrupt midos, gaiva, arrogance, kas, anger. V'Yidas Beinav L'Shlach Gad Mordechai Avado V'Gomer V'Yivakesh Malach Shmidas Kol Yudim. Hashchasa V'Achzoris Mavila. Frightening, corruption, and cruelty. Lashmid Am Shalem. destroying the entire nation. Taf and Noshim, women and children. Nishir Pkias Kabbat Shayachim, because one individual is slighted. By Sapaka Mamagon, Spellam Mamon's Kozo Shrova Robanov S. Kosher Gilu Melch, because of Boletas Agaivam. From all this, we see the arrogance. Jose Nenu Shabeli, all this is not worth it for me. How can he have his life be sweet and Mordechai's not going to bow down to him? Even his children are not a consolation. With the travails he's undergoing. What the Chachamim tell him to do. It's terrible. And how they make the suggestion, but Adish's Kokaklo with such great apathy. The person's life is not at stake. You slew Mordechai love, will buy a melch, so yeah, well, sure, hang somebody and be happy. Umala so species of Melcha Betzikoro. By Ramon believe Bolamiach Botzamel Gomer. Take him to Law Kobatzmo. He immediately assumed everything was about him. So too his perception and his desires. Or anybody who has a clear and pure eye sees and sees this depiction as a display of comedy and foolishness. And it is really a living depiction of imaginary honor. In short, it's not they're not individuals. They're type of archetypes. It's they are their picture of the bad mitos in the non-Jews. Okay, so I think we'll stop here for today before we get to we'll pick up with the mitos tovos to be soiled next week.
Okay, very good.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, well, not sure why so far this is new analysis. In other words, I don't
well,
see
that. He's laying out a thesis that the whole thing is really it's like a Greek tragic comedy with Haman and Achashverosh really representing archetypes. Like they're not seen here in the Megillah as sort of individuals, but they're archetypes of representing people who have bad midos, and that's the thesis that everything in the Megillah is really about midos.
Okay.
And that when the Jews, the Jewish people represent the positive thing about midos, and the Avodah Zarah represent the negative portrait of midos.
It's a morality play.
Right, exactly.
All right.
It's kind of it's like a Shakespearean sort of drama. The characters have names, but they're not just individuals. In other words, they're representations.
Concept. Okay, there's square.
Yeah.
Peace. Okay.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Take care.